Yeah, he's great. Is he still with us? Unlike Mr. Rogers? No. Oh.
Well, hang on. Let me not start a rumor. I don't think so.
Bo's just like, no, he's got to be dead by now.
Honey, they said I'm dead on There'll Be Dungeons.
No, he's not dead. Oh, you know, he died in 2001.
Oh,
yeah,
then he is dead.
Yeah,
He's definitely dead if he died then. Yeah. All right. Let's do a show.
Definitely dead.
Yeah, there's no way he's not dead.
If he died 5 years ago, there's still a chance. But 2001, definitely dead.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, his name is Ernest Arthur Coombs, and he was born in Lewiston, Maine.
Oh, he's an American.
I hope it's Combs.
Combs.
It's Combs. Is that
I couldn't
Coombs?
do it if it was Coombs.
Can't do it.
Ernie Coombs? Okay.
Nice. All right, let's do this. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Thought I had this ready. I do. Okay. It's recording. And here we go. Part 1 of today's session. Sit back and enjoy, everybody. Thanks for being here live. And it begins in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody, to There Will Be Dungeons. It's been a little bit. We had a bunch of conflicts on schedule this month or the last month or so, but we're back after a 3-week hiatus, and it's exciting to be here. Thank you for joining us for D&D. Quick reminder, we have a little partnership going with our friends at PhoenixPearlTea.com. They just sent me a brand new tea for the show, and I left it upstairs, so that's brilliant. Next week, I'll actually drink it on the air, so you guys know what I'm working on here. But it looks great, sounds great, and probably is great. And as soon as I taste it, I'll let you know. But for in the meantime, there's a whole bunch of teas named after stuff we do here on the show at PhoenixPearlTea.com/TWBD. You're encouraged to go check that out whenever possible. All right, without any delay, let's throw it over to Kristen, who'll catch us up on what happened last time on There Will Be Dungeons.
Last time on There Will Be Dungeons, they managed to make it to Mars, where they were greeted with great gusto and also a noxious network of Nashes. When deciding dealings with them, Nash pushed power to a white-robed Nash who had quickly squashed a scuffle between Hamster Nash and Dragon Nash. Following this foray into mingled madness, the team took time to share in some revelry as an old friend, Charlemagne, served them as he had so long ago. Now rejoin our heroes as they prepare for the oncoming onslaught. What will each do with their last lounge? How will they modify their makes? And will White Nash prove as trustworthy as Nash believes him to be? Stay tuned for the continuing conundrums and perilous pursuits of space.
All right, Bo, it's back to you. Let's do this.
All right, the heroes of the wastes: Nash, Magard of the Solar Mines, Vorel, Rasvim Kurik, Queen Hope Akmenos, Orifi Hope Akmenos, and Valir Ornath, a.k.a. the Soleli Prime, a.k.a. Stanley Billings of the Wastes, find themselves in a place below the surface of Mars, underneath the great tree of Slinar. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, actually, it's the Great Elder Tree of Mars, but sure, I think it's also called that. They find themselves in the Augmentation Cylinder, a chamber devised by the high-tech elves of Elhandar, and they've constructed this for the express purpose of providing the heroes with enhancements. Admiral Chrysorius, when we last left off, was explaining to you that the Augmentation Cylinder is a reconstruction of their Elhandar tech, which is the space station that crashed into Mars, designed to perform surgery on your neurobiology, and in order for you to change knowledge and to enhance you, which means, as we discussed last week, you would get a level up. You could swap out any abilities except for race, class, and subclass. So Admiral Chrysorius stands before you, having explained the benefits of taking such an option, and says, "We must act quickly. Please refer to these panels to decide on what changes and augmentations you might require, and we will begin immediately."
Quick tabletop question. This put us at 15, right? Not
If
16.
we take it, it will
If you
make
take
us
it.
15.
So you might have made some changes already to your sheet in the few weeks we've been off. So don't make them again.
Yeah.
But we left off before you were making the decision. So there may be some of you who don't make the decision.
Sure. Okay. Just making sure I'm at the whatever baseline we're supposed to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Valir would step forward and just go, it's very clear that dealing with the principal is going to be more than a challenge. We faced him once and we did well, but now he has the hand, and we're going to be fighting him on his terms. I think we need to be as prepared as we possibly can be. He would go forward to have the procedure done.
Yes, my Lily, that was our thinking too.
Hope would step up after Stanley.
Chrysorius nods to you.
Hope will nod to Chrysorius.
Nash, Vorel.
Nash would stand there with his arms folded and not do anything. He's not sure he's doing this or trusts it. He'll let his friends guinea pig it.
So do you communicate all this with your facial expressions, or you say that out loud?
No, I don't say any of it. I just stand there with my arms folded and just look at the guy. If he's looking for like a reaction out of me, I'll just kind of shake my head a little bit. I'll seem very standoffish about it.
And you, Varel?
I will look at my friends, and Varel is breathing a little heavy. And he looks back and forth, and he locks eyes with Stanley and says, I am no coward. And the tips of his spikes and his frills fill with a reddish blood. And he turns and walks proudly, chest out the door.
Oh, damn. I'm going to follow him. I'm just going to walk out with
follow
Varel. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be level 15, Scott?
I want to be level 15, but I don't want to change all my shit.
Well, it's one.
Well, you don't have to change any. You don't have to change anything. You can just get to level 15.
So I don't get the level without the process?
Yeah. It's the augmentation cylinder. This is how you're augmented.
Okay, well, as I follow Varel out, I'll go, oh, wait a minute, I do want to be 15, and I'll turn around.
See, as somebody who every now and then, if Scott has questions, has his character sheet at the ready, and noticed that Scott had already made his character level 15.
Yeah.
thought he might give Scott a little easy bailout here.
Yeah.
All right. Varel, you exit the chamber, ascending up outside, and find yourself to be alone.
All right, I will proudly, with great purpose, gusto, chest out ahead of me, make my way to the lizard folk.
Very good. You walk into the thicket of jungle and disappear. Back to the rest of the party. So Nash, you're now sort of. Chrysorius looks at you and he says, "Oh, so you'll be taking the augmentation then? I assure you, it's quite safe.
Only to a degree.
Well, it's as safe as it can be, given the circumstances.
I'm not going first, though.
Well, you can all go at the same time.
Oh, so we don't get to see how this works first? Like, see if Stanley doesn't explode or whatever.
We
You
don't
can
have
wait,
time.
Nash. Oh, sorry.
Is the only way to do it? Can we only do it all at once, or can I wait and see how it goes for one of them?
The procedure is going to take several hours, and tomorrow we will convene to plan our stratagem, and by tomorrow evening we could be very well in the sky. Time is of the essence. We can't allow the principal, we can't afford him days upon days. It's now or never.
I'll look at my.
Nash, you are more indestructible than any of us. What are you so worried about?
Not worried. I just don't trust this weird procedure. I got a lot of weird issues already, and I don't want you to walk away with like an extra ear or some bullshit. But you know what? I'm good. If you guys are trusting this, I guess I'll trust it. I'll just do it.
Very well. Let us begin. And so you're in this large metal chamber that's like cylindrical, and in the center, as the steps rise, there's this large cylinder sort of chamber, and part of the sleeve of this chamber releases and steam billows out like jets of condensation, just sort of shoot out as this large sleeve raises up on the cylinder on a raised platform, and stairs fold out. And then up these stairs at the top, there are 4 chambers where one can sort of stand Borg style, like on these small daises, and there are all these kind of like needly looking things and pieces of equipment near them. And Chrysorius ascends the stairs, beckoning you to follow, and says, "Please make your way to the chamber."
Stanley will move up to the chamber.
Yep, I'll
Hope
follow.
follows.
All right, so a series of elves in doctors' robes come out of the room, and they also follow behind. And as you move into the chamber, they point you to where you need to stand, and you each stand in your own sort of corner. And there's one empty corner where Varel would have stood, but had he not stormed off. And they begin strapping you in with belts, like around your torso and your chest and around your legs, to make sure you don't move too much. And the doctors each swing out like this computer panel, this old CRT monitor, and there's a little little like trackball where you can sort of scroll around and click things, and they hook up these diodes to your head, and as the diodes read the information in your head, you see like a little printout of your skull and your cerebrum on the monitor, and then it sort of identifies your knowledge and things you know. Bing, 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 bing. Like for Nash, it's got, thermal underwear DNA. Beep, beep, beep. It sort of zooms in on your crotch and then expands the DNA out into the rest of the body.
Nice.
And you see things like this, and for Stanley, you see, your magical abilities start to be like moved onto the screen, and for Hope, you as well. All of your features and knowledge, things you would have picked up in your personal histories, are being examined on the screen. And Admiral Chrysorius says, "Now, please take your time and make sure you make selections of what's needed." And there's another panel there where you can pick to replace other things with the things that you might need, including some of the new things for your next level, as applicable. And while you make those selections, devices are being measured by other elves as they come in. They might take your eye and go like this and shine a light in it really quickly to see your eyes. Like they're sort of examining you and preparing you while you make your choices on the screens. So, since we discussed this at the end of the last show, I'm assuming everyone has made their choices and added it to their character sheet already.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Nash?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm staying essentially the same, just looking for more strength.
But you leveled up your character, right? So
Yeah.
you made your choices there.
I
Great.
did.
So then we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. After some time you spend making your decisions, Admiral Chrysorius asks you, "So, have you made your decisions? Are we ready to commence? If there's any
Yes.
questions or you require consultation, please let me know now."
Is it going to
Before
hurt?
No, the procedure will be painless. We will administer painkillers through these. And he lifts up one of his sort of needle arms from... Not to worry. But you may be asleep for some time.
Okay.
Well,
good.
if there aren't any other questions before making any permanent decisions, then we will see you soon.
I've given up more for less. Let's do this.
All right. And the elves exit the chamber, and then Admiral Chrysorius exits the chamber, turns around, and looks you square in the eye, respectfully, Silele Prime. as the sleeve comes back down. And now it's just the three of you. And lights, there's all these kind of like red lights sort of flashing now as the lights dim and you just see red and blacks. And the three of you can see each other as like you hear the computer, ticking and then a voice on an intercom goes, we'll begin in 2 minutes. Begin the countdown. And you have 2 minutes to chat with each other before the lights dim.
Well, at least we didn't have to deal with the demon for this one.
Yeah, it's a lot better to not have to sign your soul away for this.
We'll see how things go on the other side. Still very skeptical.
And as you say that, you feel time begin to slow down. And you say, "Still feeling very skeptical." Does anyone else want to say anything in super slow motion as the drugs take effect? Nope. All right. Then you let the sweet, sweet piece of drug-induced sleep make your eyelids heavy and close, and you drift off. So make sure you benefit from a long rest, whatever you do. If you haven't. And I guess while you're sleeping, we'll check in with Vorel, see what he's up to. You won't be seeing your friends for a little bit. It is now the Varel hour. So you, after having left to go return to your lizard folk, of which there are approximately 75, I think we noted down here. And they've been invited to stay in a portion of the jungle all to themselves. So you find them through your survival techniques, right? You can, the telltale signs, the scents. And before entering into the area with the lizard folk, you see them, and we'll pick up with you there.
What kind of housing have they been supplied with?
Well, they've been building structures of the ground, so they haven't really been. They've been preferring to choose. They've preferred not to take any of their weird sciencey tents or crude clinical buildings. So they've made makeshift sand piles of the rather moist and earth.
All right, you mentioned that we would get access to a +2 weapon of our choice.
Right, that was back in the augmentation chamber.
Okay, cool.
You stormed out.
Okay, sounds good. All right,
Yeah.
so I will like the Lion King, cresting up onto Pride Rock with the rain falling and the kind of do my slow walk towards the town, and as I sort of emerge from the jungle, I will ball up my fists, take a big deep breath in, and roar to my people. Jesk, Rumag, Tyralis! And light my sword and shove it in the air and flex my pecs as best I can to make a great burst of light. And that basically means, in so many words, the courtship of the Fang has begun.
Oh, shit.
And I will walk to the center of town, dig my flame sword in the ground, spin about, kind of loosen the earth so that I make kind of a sand bowl. And I will, in turn, invite each fertile female to bed with me here in the middle of the tribe.
Okay, all right. I wasn't expecting this. This is awesome. Okay, so let's make a performance roll first of all, just because you are performing, and as is tradition in D&D, we need a roll.
Okay, is there any way I could convince you for a athletics or something strength-based?
You might have some tokens. Let's cash one of those in at some point that we never used. So let's do that and go ahead and make it strength-based.
All right. 27.
Okay, well, that is a very good roll.
So instead of words, what I'd like to do, I stir my great bowl of sand that I've created in the ground. I go down, I kind of on fours do that lizard push-up thing and really kind of get in there and, fill in the spikes with blood and really just making a show of it.
Okay. All right, so several lizard folk female that you can tell. Everyone sort of turns to look at you. First of all, you are the Great Fang. You are the leader. There, you escape no lizard folks' attention as they all turn to you. And yes, the prospective mates step forward close to you, and as they step forward, like one mate bumps into one of them, and then they begin to immediately fight right on the spot. As there's this vicious fight that's formed. They're disregarded by the other lizard folk who don't females who don't get into fights. However, 4 or 5 fights do break out, and they are bloody. I don't know if you want to formalize these fights or just allow the chaos to happen.
Oh no, I watch breathing heavy while I do.
Yeah. And then realizing that the fighting is a sign of strength, the lizard folk females that weren't fighting realize how undignified it would be to ignore the call for violence and just simply approach. And thus they all begin picking fights with each other or entering into the melee with 2 that are already fighting, creating a giant Royal Rumble that's occurring before you, essentially, of females that are now fighting for the honor of courtship of the Fang.
Excellent.
So I'm not sure if it was your intent to have as many partners as possible or to have a singular partner.
There will be one chosen first, but there will be many partners to rival that of Stanley's number.
Okay, so they are all now. This is a job interview for I feel so gross saying this. This is a job interview for those who will get to mate with you or not. And
it's a courtship ritual.
Yeah, courtship but to make your preference or to be of preference essentially. So there's now a grand melee in place. Do you just simply watch?
Yep, and then once one has sort of risen above, pinned the others, sort of displayed their martial or physical prowess, I grab them by the nape with my teeth and drag them to the pit.
Okay, so as the fight goes on, several of them, get winded or beat down, and the group of 20 or so, 24 lizard folk females dwindle to 4. As they all succumb to their injuries one by one. Of the 4, the strongest of them has 2 of them in the headlock. So that's what you want to do. You want to grab that one by the nape and take her off.
Yeah, basically, as she's in the wrestling, holding them down, I just grab them by the neck, kind of scruff them as you.
Oh, you're gonna take more than one.
No, just one at a time.
Just one. All right. Ugh. So as you grab the first lizard folk female of your preference, the strongest of the bunch, she's in the middle of battle frenzy and resists your grab. You're going to have to make a strength contest.
All right, with pleasure.
I think we all need to recognize Kyle and his lizard research that he's brought to this role, and just appreciate the numerous lists he's probably gotten himself on looking up lizard courtship.
Yeah,
I got a nat 20.
Oh my gosh.
I got a nat 1 on my roll, so let the virility begin. Let the male virility begin. You grab the strongest of the lizard folk females by the nape with your teeth. You said, or with your hand?
With
your teeth. Yeah, just pulling her right out, and then you have, without even having to use your arms or anything, you just have her by the nape, and you're walking off to your pit, and then the fighting sort of stops between the other ones as they realize a choice has been made. But then they get back to fighting anyways, because there could be she won't be the last, so there's still positions to fight for.
Absolutely. If you would like to avoid the details, I'd be happy to make perhaps charisma rolls until I can go no more.
Oh, we'll get to that. Let's see if you can. Let's see if you can bed the first one. You're off to a good start.
Very
well. But okay? So now you approach the pit that you've dug out, and you have the. I want to refer to her with a name. You have you don't even know her name though, so I can't give that to you. You have the first of your what's it, partners, courtships. What is it? Concubines. Like you have the first of your
harem.
Harem. There you go. You have the first of your harem in your teeth. How do you proceed?
It's a pretty normal procedure, if you will. The teeth stay on the back of the neck, and the rest of it is wrestled to the ground and pinned.
Oh, right in that position.
Yeah,
okay.
And as is tradition of the lizard folk, I've seen other males do this, so it's no mystery.
Okay, so she fights you for it. It's not in your mind, maybe it should be as easy as that, but it's not. And she makes another grapple check with you.
All right.
To actually wrestle you to the ground.
20, not natural.
Ah, so she gets a higher roll than you, and as you
Ooh.
attempt to do this, she turns around and grabs you by the shoulders and throws you to the ground, but with her body, and then she's over top of you, and she her mouth bares its teeth, and she clamps down to bite at you, making an attack roll with advantage. It's 26.
That's a hit.
Yeah. All right, and does 8 points of piercing damage as she clamps down, biting your neck. It is your turn.
I will revel in this and make her make a dexterity saving throw or get hit by the fire reaction that I have.
Oh, okay. Dexterity saving throw. Failure. So she takes fire damage.
7 points of fire damage.
Yeah. All right. Okay. 7 points of fire damage. That's quite a lot. She's not a level 15 character like yourself, and it relaxes her grip on you for just a moment. As if you want to make another grapple attempt, you will gain advantage over her.
All right. I will ride the damage into a rage for 18.
24 for me.
Whoa!
As you attempt to get it, as you attempt to do that, she wrestles, and you're sort of in this impasse now. As she's on fire, you attempt to grapple her. She pushes your hands off, and then she takes you by the neck and attempts to grapple you by your neck in order to smash your head into the ground.
Good lord!
All right.
Some Klingon shit going down here.
18 for me.
Take her. You
That's a
bring
hit.
her to the level up.
Oh, no, not attack roll. It's contest. She's grappling you by the neck.
Oh man, I rolled a 4, so 14.
Oh, she grapples you by the neck, and she just goes, "Oh, she's in a battle rage. This is no thinking. There's no logic behind any of this. You've initiated the mating ritual. You're getting the mating ritual."
Yeah, absolutely.
She's like, "Ah, good." And she smashes your head into the ground several times, dealing 12 bludgeoning damage.
All right, 6 because I'm also in a rage. So this is just joy. This is pure.
Yeah, this is fun.
This is ecstasy.
Yeah. She's smashing your head into the ground, and now it is your turn.
All right.
She has you by the neck, and she's smashing your head into the ground.
I'll see if I can finally get this grapple underway with a better roll. Here, 25.
You got it. I got a 24.
Damn. All right.
Yeah. So you have. How do you grapple her? This is your choice.
Well, she's been just kind of banging my head to it. I wanna basically do the flip up, but ride on top. So then I'm on top now. So just kind of take all my weight and throw her on her back.
Okay. So with the successful roll, you take all your weight, throw her on your back, and instinctively she knows what's going on now. And the battle ends, and consummation begins. Although the line between what is both is blurry, as consummation begins. My favorite Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah. So, how long does Lizard Folk consummation last? Is this,
I didn't look that part up.
Did a lot of research. Didn't look at that though.
You're gonna have like a lot of hours because the other guys are in the augmentation cylinder. So,
Seldom eat, minimal drinking.
I mean, imagine it's like a minute or two, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, let's see.
like nature. Humans are the ones that are like, "Ooh, do it for hours." Like animals are like, they're done in like a few seconds, right? Like, it's not. But you are a lizard man, lizard folk, lizard people, so there may be some time. You're stuck between. I feel like you're stuck between being like, no, it's definitely an hour, versus no, it's 10 seconds. What do I decide? Let's rule. Just yeah. It's a fantasy game, so there's no wrong answers here. I don't think.
Okay, I would say it's a solid 20 minutes.
Solid 20.
And then there's
a
brief break where she is dismissed from the bowl, and breath is had before engaging another.
Yeah, and the fighting in the pit has resumed. So now we're not going to do this whole process. in detail each time. You wanted to make a charisma roll to see how many you were able to bed in a day before expiring from fatigue.
Constitution was my preferred.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're not. I don't know why charisma. Yeah, Constitution's the way to go for sure.
All right.
There's nothing charming about any of this.
We're gonna come out leveled up. Varel's gonna be a dead, shriveled husk, but we'll have many children to join us.
I got a 28.
I don't know why I rolled 28. Okay. Let me just consult with my DM screen here on.
Yeah, let's print it on there.
How many
somewhere,
lizard
I'm sure.
folk you can bed with a 28?
So, well, I mean, I'm looking at the setting a DC tab, right? So nearly impossible is 30. I don't think it would be nearly impossible to bed all 24 of the women, and 28's pretty close. So, as many, yeah, you could do the whole run, the whole tribe.
Excellent.
It's just up to you if you want to stop. So, is that what happens?
Yeah, unless I hit a barrier of unfruitful or but basically the losers of the pit, you know, they don't deserve.
Nope. You successfully bed 24 lizard folk women today. You do not benefit from a long rest, and you are at about 2 HP. Well, we're gonna say 1 HP. You're at 1 HP. You have sustained damage all day long, and yeah, you are near death.
Perfect.
All right, so that's 8 hours have gone by. All right, well, we'll check in with you a little bit later. Then you just sit tight.
Guys, I feel pretty good about the deal we made. I think we came out ahead on this.
Yeah. So Nash, Hope, and Varel, not Varel. Nash, Hope, and Stanley, or Valir.
Yeah.
You open your eyes, and there's a soft, like your eyes are fuzzy, so you can't really see the faces of people making it out to you, and you just hear open your mouths.
Yeah.
And does anyone comply? Like a spoon is being, like a vague image of a spoon is being moved towards your mouth.
Are we pretty certain that it's a spoon? It's not some guy's wiener or something weird like that?
Make a perception roll, please.
Okay.
With disadvantage. No, not with disadvantage. Just make a perception roll.
Okay. A 5.
You don't know. There's a chance. As far as you're concerned, there's a chance it's a wiener.
All right.
A very different mating ritual in this chamber.
I mean, we're in. We may as well be in. So yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Give me your spoon wiener. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's a spoon. It's a spoonful of some kind of food that tastes sweet and yummy. And it's just a doctor trying to feed you. You've been out for 8 hours. Here's a bit of food for you. Please eat. Does everyone eat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So your bodies feel tremendously weak, and then each one of you feels like there's a little bit of stimulant to help you get through the evening, and you feel like a needle jab sort of in your side as the doctors come up and repair you. But within minutes, your eyes begin to refocus. You begin to get a sense of where you're at. You feel your body sort of strengthened enough, but you're going to need a long rest to recover from the surgery. And Chrysorius steps in and says, "Good news, heroes of the wastes. The surgery went flawlessly. You now have your new powers, and should you wish to test them, we have a chamber here where you can cast your spells safely or your abilities. How does everyone feel?"
I've certainly felt better than this. Ugh.
This is about as bad as I always feel. It's fine.
So here's the agenda for the next day. We are now in evening time here on Mars, and there's a bit of a celebration from the Elves of El Hendar and the rest of the peoples here. A sort of Last Supper style thing where there's music and frivolity for one day before the sobering reality of war sets back in tomorrow. After this evening, tomorrow morning, we will reconvene in the Grove to go over the battle plans. And from there, we will depart and instigate war with the principal.
If we need supplies like weapons, armor, shields, would that be tomorrow?
Nope, it's right now. We have the equipment here, and he sort of looks over as you step down from the augmentation cylinder. You see, like a trolley has been sort of brought in that floats off the ground a little bit. It's got the +2 armaments we talked about last week. It has the long rest in a can, and there's also sort of a box of, not a box, but like there's a sort of shelf full of like jars that look like reagents, but like it looks like a medicine cabinet kind of style from a hospital. So, and these would contain medical reagents. So, Admiral Chrysorius explains what these are. These are the best of Alhandari weapons that they have at their disposal for you. If you need a +2 item of some kind, a weapon or armor, they're available. If you need reagents, they're available, unless they have a gold cost, and then we have to discuss. John has already discussed some of these. So it's at this point, can you just formally make your request for reagents?
Yeah, let me pull up the list that I gave you. I believe it is 2 gem-encrusted bowls. 2, what was it? I'll just look at my spell list. 2 gem-encrusted bowls, Nope, that one, that spell. It's this one. Ruby dust and diamond dust.
Very good. We've collected all that we have of those things, and please provide them to the Solele. And one sec. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. All over my arm. It's great.
Ew.
Well, I tried to cover it, but it snuck out. Anyways, so the reagents are proffered to you, Stanley, and that's all that they have available. So Chrysori says, we've looked around for what you need for these incantations of yours, and this is what we have.
This will do nicely, thank you.
Excellent. Hope, Nash, can we procure weapons or armor of any kind for you?
Oh, one other thing real quick, Bo. Is that all I get? Because I also gave myself a weapon and armor.
Oh, you can get a weapon and armor.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, Stanley is also going to take...
You're the Prince of Elves. You get what you want. Like,
so Stanley's also going to take a +2 rapier and a +2 set of studded leather armor.
Okay. All right, and Hope, Nash.
Hope will be looking for a +2 rapier, +2 half plate armor, and a +2 shield.
Okay, so you can add those items to your sheet. Nash.
Nash wants. Hold on. Let me pull this back up. Nash would like a +2 staff. I can't find the one I wanted. Hold on. There's a name in here.
Yeah.
Well,
Should just be the quarterstaff, probably is what it's called.
yeah. I think it's got a +2 int on it.
It would be called quarterstaff +2 is probably what it's called.
Staff. It's not coming up for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Well, anyway, I can deal with that on my own, but I want that. Oh, there it is. Quarterstaff +2. I found it.
Yeah.
I want that, and I want what am I wearing right now?
Your rags, I think. Or no, your fashionable nobility clothing by Lohar.
Yeah,
maybe.
why am I still wearing that? Hold on.
Rambunctious bunch gang threads. I don't know.
Hold on a second here.
The accuracy of your sheet's a little unreliable.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah, you want some robes?
I want a cloak of protection. There it is.
Nope, you can't get one of those.
Why?
'Cause you can only get +2 items.
Why? He's yelling at these elves.
All right, so
It's +2 items. So something if you want +2, like I think it's robes +2, like it's whatever is it's generic equipment they would provide you.
all right, robes +2 then, and I think that's it. Yeah.
I don't even know if robes +2 exists as what it's called.
I don't either. I can't. That's what I can't find. So if it does, I can't find it.
Oh, you probably don't get +2 armors of that kind. That's probably why the issue is. What did you want? A cloak of protection?
Yeah.
All right, you can take one of those then.
Yeah.
Yeah, cloak of protection is basically what it is. We'll give that to you. It's just
All right.
+1 to AC saving throw. So yeah.
Put it on
Yeah, look at the DM walking it back. His cruelty.
Yep.
Oh,
right.
we found one, sir. It was in the back. We're keeping the table level with it, but you can have it.
All right, so you've got your cloak of protection and you've got your items. Make sure to write somewhere on your character sheet that you have a long rest in a can, except for Varel, who has none of these things.
Can I take his to
You
give
can.
to him?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put
Yeah.
2. It's in my inventory as a rejuvenation syringe, but
I mean,
I'll
you can
remember
grab
that
items
that's
for
what it
him
is.
too. You can't communicate with him about what he wants, but you could take what you wanted to give to him.
I mean, Varel likes swords that are great. I don't want to mess this up for Kyle.
Mhm.
Oh, sweet.
What would Varel
That
use?
cloak looks good.
Use a axe? Would he be a sword man?
Sword man.
He's a sword lizard.
Yeah. You think a great sword?
Yeah, we learned
Like
that.
he'd want just like the greatest sword possible, right?
Basically, the Guts' sword from Berserk, the big old
Yeah.
bastard sword.
Right now he's
I
just-
would grab.
But also a shield. You know, not that big, but
Oh, well, that's true. If he uses a shield, and he does, right?
yeah.
I think a greatsword has to be two-handed, so it would just be a long sword then.
What does one give the angriest horny man in the story right now?
All right, I would get a +2 long sword for Varel.
Shower.
Sand shower.
Oh yeah, have to be sand.
So I'll put it in my inventory for now to remember. But Kyle, you can
Okay.
basically add it to yours. I'm bringing you a +2 long sword.
Cool. And Hope will grab a +2 shield for Varel.
Okay, great. You can take those items, and you have the long rest in a can, and I think that just about covers everything. So Admiral Chrysorius then says, "We shall see you on the morrow at the Grove. Enjoy the entertainments of the evening, and rest well. Should any problems arise from the surgery today," he looks towards you, Nash, "please come and see us."
Why Nash specifically?
Yeah, why is he looking at me? I don't like that.
You made a strange comment about growing an ear after surgery.
All right, I'll take his advice.
All right. So with that, you reascend from and out into the jungle of Mars, exiting, leaving the chamber and the Elhendari science elves behind you. So if we go to the map here, I think we have everyone on this. No, we don't. Map. We have the residences. We have the market to visit. There's also apparently within the community village there is a celebration of some kind happening this evening, and it's nighttime, so there's no clouds in the sky. You just see stars and moonlight above you. I think it's the moon of Phobos. I don't know if it actually shines on Mars, but we'll say it does now. Yeah.
Well, I
Anyone
guess
want-
first stop would be if they're having a celebration of sorts. I feel like we should be there. That's where Valir would start heading.
Okay, so Valir to the celebration. Hope, Nash.
Snash.
Nice.
That's me.
Yeah.
So I can just go, right?
You're free. Tomorrow morning would be the reconvening of the war assembly of the Earthly Defenders.
Okay, but
So,
no other
yeah, it's
no other commitments tonight. I can go see my family and hang out with them.
you can do whatever you like.
I'm gonna do that.
One thing before everybody departs, Stanley would look at the other two and say, one thing before we all figure this out. One of my new abilities involves eating a meal. We'll save it for breakfast, but it's definitely going to be something you all, and definitely Varel, will want to attend. So, enjoy tonight, but make sure we reconvene for a little bit of help in the morning.
Sounds good.
And if you see Varel, let him know. I don't know where he wandered off to.
I'll go see if I can find him.
Okay, so Nash is going to spend time with family. Hope you're going to go look for Vorel.
Yeah, invite him to the party.
Okay, perfect. Varel, I imagine you are just resting at this
Laying
point.
in my pit in the middle of town.
Perfect. All right, so let's carry out these actions. The three of you part ways. Valir, you begin. Valir, you head towards where the tents are of the Elhendari elves and the structures. Nash, you head home to see Angelashi, and we'll start with Hope, who's off into the jungle to where she's remembers that the lizard folk would likely be staying. So within a few minutes, Hope, you walk through the jungle and find the area where the lizard folk are, and you see Hope lying in a pit. He's lying in his pit, sort of leaning back, head towards the sky, looking up, and there's all these other lizard folk looking sort of spent / beat up in the same hole around him nearby, all sleeping. So there's the 24 ladies are sleeping, and Vorel's just lying there in this pit.
Hope can't really tell the difference between male and female, so she
That's-
just
yeah.
assumes he showed up and fought everybody and then
Yeah.
passed out.
That's kind of what it looks like.
So she's gonna kind of try and step over the lizard folk to get her way to Varel, shake him a little, and if he wakes up, let him know about the party. But if he doesn't stir, she'll just let him lay there.
Oh, do you stir, Vorel?
My eyes shoot open, assuming yet another aggressive coitus is underway, but with one hit point. I raise my head slightly, kind of peer through the gloom and the bruises, and see Hope there, and collapse back my head and go, I did it, Hope. Tell Stanley, I did it.
Varel did what? Did you kill everyone?
No, I didn't kill anybody. I have made it.
Hope will look around and see the number of lizard folk. And she'll look back at Varel. How many should I tell him?
In the haze of the Jesk, Rumak, Tyreris, I lost count. Tell me, and I sort of sit up. How many lay about?
Hope will help him sit up.
This is the most like frail you've seen Vorel.
Yeah. I think we're not fighting right now.
My count is 26.
Hope will give him a big pat on the back. Sleep well, friend.
I
And
hunger.
then there's a feast going. Would you like me to help you there?
A feast would be most welcome. I will walk.
I can help if you need, Varel.
No, the fang is not carried after his coitus. I will expend a short rest healing as best I can,
Oh yeah, you can use a short rest for sure.
and raise myself high and limp my way from the pit.
Very good. All right, we now continue with Stanley. So Valir, you make your way to this field of tents, essentially, and the tents are all alight with little electronic LED lights that all the Elhendari elves have that have this nice soft glow everywhere. And you see that it's all empty and looks abandoned, but you can hear the noise of flutes going. You sort of hear that in the background as it carries over the air, and you see like large flames and the silhouettes of elves and other kind dancing. So as you approach this celebration, some of the elves nearby take notice of you and bow in deference to you as the music sort of chimes down a bit. And now that you're there, everyone's paying attention to you and respectfully sort of looking your way.
This is quieted down. They're looking at me.
Yeah. You've walked in on a party and everyone's like, "Oh shit, Prince! The prince is here!" Like, and the music sort of stopped, and there's almost this expectation that you're going to say something.
Never one to miss a speech. Stanley will stop and then in Elvish say, "My people, it has been a long journey for all of us to be here today. It is an honor to serve at this post for you. For the longest time, I denied this part of who I was, hid it from the world, and was ignorant of your plight here and in our stars. It is a shame, I feel, that I couldn't be more connected to you, but an honor that I can be now. Please, enjoy this moment. In my travels, I have learned one thing. It doesn't last. And as grim as that may be, it makes moments like this all the more important to savor and to recognize the joys that we have, even if they are blips of light in the darkness." And then he'd just give a bow to his people.
All right, make your performance roll.
All right. A 34.
Well, that's fantastic. Okay, so there's just a big cheering, hey! In response to your speech, and the flutes and sort of drums pick back up, and hear and as music sort of picks up, a male elf just comes up to you and puts his arm around you and a hand on your chest, and then a lady elf comes up and puts a wreath on your head and then grabs your arm, and then the man elf is like, "Ha, let's go!" And then they both take your hands, and then elves come around, and you're now like jumping and dancing in this circle all of a sudden amongst these elves, and everyone's dancing and laughing, and you just see laughing faces and a glass of wine. Someone comes up with, it's not a glass, they have these cylinder like sci-fi glasses, and as you're dancing, someone grabs your chin and pours the drink into your mouth as wine spirits just get glug, 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 and you enter into a Dionysian level feast. As these elves all of a sudden really know how to party, and they don't want to hear any of your somber shit now. They want you to dance and drink and be merry, and you're just swept up into the event. And as that happens, you hear Nash from you can see the lights from this gathering far away, and you hear this "yay" deep in the background as you step up to the tent where Angelashi and the kids are. You stop in front of it for a moment.
Okay. Well, having just heard the discount Super Mario Brothers theme, I think I would be. That reminded me of.
It's popular on Elflander.
I would hurry up with haste to see my family and hug everybody. And
all right, so you just burst right into the tent.
Yeah.
Yep. So you enter in, and Angelashi, who's been reading a book, looks up and says, "Finally, Nash, you're back." And just a bunch of kids are like, "Yay!" as they run up to you and they grab your leg, "Papa, Papa," as they all start speaking now.
Oh, cool. They're already okay.
Yeah.
Well, nothing special planned other than it would be Nash's goal to hang out with his kids and play with them until bedtime, and then hang out with my wife all night, and then be ready for the thing tomorrow.
All right. Okay. So then we'll just leave it at that. There's not much to say other than you scoop the kids up and you begin spending time with them. We'll check in with you a little bit later.
All right.
Vorel and Hope, So then you walk into the clearing, and you see from a distance Nash is surrounded by an entourage of his elven people that are feeding him berries and wine and making him dance. And, for the first time ever, Valir seems to have just let himself go into it. Stanley's always been a little bit sober or a little bit standoffish or thinking about the consequences of things, and he seems, from your perspective anyways, of course you don't know what's going on in his inner life, but he seems to be fully invested in the celebrations of his people, and it's a sight you haven't seen before. And so as the two of you step in, do you want to join, or you're watching from afar at the moment? Is there anything more you'd want to do or say to each other?
Well, shall we go tell him of your conquest, Varel?
How many people is he dancing with?
It's all there's a circle of 12 people, but then there's other people around him waiting for their turn. There's a lot of people in the area. He's in the middle of this. There's a band up on a wooden stage, a makeshift wooden stage. There's a band playing flutes and drums, good earthly instruments. And there's a lot of people around. He's their prince, and they're showering him with adulation in the way that elves do.
I give a little chuckle to myself, knowing that Stanley couldn't possibly bet all 12 of the people he dances with. And I will scan the party for a buffet or some sort of food.
There is indeed a spread replete with wild game and fruits and vegetables and a cornucopia of elven delights. I mean, it looks better than the average food because it is elven, so there's a pristine appeal to all of it.
Take a big... And with renewed vigor, I start making my way towards the buffet.
And as you make your way towards the buffet, elves move out of... They see your shadow, and the elves move out of your way, right? And there's do 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 as they see, and you're a hero of the waste. They know who you are immediately, and they're happy to see you. And between you and the table is one elf, and it's a female form. And seeing your shadow above you, she turns around, and you see that it is Yunyan. And she turns around and she says, "Oh, Vorel, you made it. I didn't think this would be the kind of thing you would enjoy being part of."
Kind of lean around her, looking at the buffet.
And she's not in her Balilikun clothes. She's actually in a rather flattering, sort of one-piece elven, tight outfit. Her elven figure looking very pronounced against the silhouette of food behind it. and then so she asked the question, "Vorel, perhaps do you partake in wine and dance?"
Wine, food, I'll partake in all of it. And I start to walk past her.
She as you walk past her, she takes your hand and she says, "Would you join us in our dance?"
Do I have range to grab a mutton or some sort of
Yeah. She's not
meat
grabbing
device?
you. She just takes your hand. Yeah.
All right, I will tirely, she can keep the hand, but I'll reach out and grab a full shank and start eating it as she pulls me onto the dance floor.
Okay, perfect. You grab a full shank as she grabs you out into the dance floor, and do you know how to dance?
No idea.
So she begins to dance, seeing that you're just kind of standing there going, and just sort of eating on the dance floor. She says, she begins trying to show you how to dance. So we're not going to do the whole detailed thing, but she sort of takes your hands and she shows you where to put your feet and how to move some feet in a very basic sort of way. If you choose, do you resist trying to learn this, or are you going to try to indulge this as you're chewing on shank?
I'll indulge it. I'm enjoying the meal, and my tail has no bearing for where it is.
Okay, so what kind of roll for learning dance are we gonna do here? This has got to be acrobatics, right? This is or a performance roll. for your learning to see how well you do.
Is this an effect I can see while not blinded? Hang on, let me check.
Yeah, this is a dance.
I think that's mostly used for traps, but hang on.
It's
What
a
is
dance
this?
trap, man.
Danger
Dance trap.
sense.
I mean, I think lizard folk might have dancing rituals, maybe, unless they're too hard and cool for that stuff. I don't know, but tribal existence would have dancing around the fire to praise the gods. So I don't know if lizard folk would do that kind of thing.
No, there'd definitely be like dancing, but it'd be more of the jumping and kicking variety and less of the hold me and spin variety.
Right.
Yeah, so let's do
what do
it
they
next.
call that? What's that called? Crush, or that style of dance? Where they're like really like that we do nowadays.
Industrial?
No, it's like a variation of hip hop dancing, but it's like crunk. Crunk? No.
Is that real?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was on So You Think You Can Dance, but anyways, that's a story for another time. Let's.
All right.
Crunk. No, I said that already.
You
No,
did.
not crunk. Crunk.
I kind of like crunk.
Is that-
Wait, crunk? No, crunk.
It might
Crunk.
be crunk. It might be crunk.
It would be
Anyway.
more like, have you seen goths dance where they like kind of do the fists in front of the face, and the big boot kind of their big
Kinda
buckle
like
boots
mosh
sort of slam?
fitting?
Yeah, it's a little more mosh.
Okay,
fitting.
I got
Oh,
you.
okay.
I got you. All right. I got you. But
Anyway.
you're trying to learn Elven dance, so this is
All right.
more involves coordination. What's your role?
12.
All right. Well, it's not bad. You do a little two-step with her that she shows you, and you show an ability to learn two-step, and it's to her delight. You're delighting in the food, and just I'm not gonna tell you what you think, but you're able to do this, and she's delighting in the fact that you're able to do it. All right. So hope you've lost your companion Varel to Union. You're sort of sitting there by your lonesome, which is near the food. What would you like to do?
She's gonna look at Stanley, and she's gonna look at Varel, and she's going to assume Nash went home. And in a good
assumption.
way, not a bad way.
Yeah, it's a good assumption.
And in this moment, she's going to realize that she's been holding on to her past for way too long. And that these guys have been her family. And they've been going on some crazy adventures. But it's been what she's been searching for. And so she'll kind of sadly smile as she watches everything. She'll shed a few tears as she kind of embraces this realization. And kind of when you have a realization like that, there's a huge weight that's lifted from your chest. And she'll kind of look up at the stars and send out an I love you to her past. And as she walks toward the buffet and the food and the wine and the drink, she'll let it go. And embrace the now and the future for however long that future is.
That was beautiful.
That was nice.
Thanks.
Give yourself some inspiration for that. That was really great. That was great, and I don't see a better moment to leave it off on for our break. We're still gonna be in evening time when we come back, but I don't have anything better to follow that up on. So let's just let that sink in.
Yeah, let it simmer.
As you stare up into the stars and have these thoughts.
Very nice. We're going to take a break. Everybody go, pee or whatever it is you do during these breaks. And then we'll be back with more good times here on There Will Be Dungeons. Don't leave. Okay, let's see.
Got all that bedding out of the way in under 12 parsecs.
There we are.
Something like that.
Everybody have a nice little break there.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to drink. John, you'll like this. Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Spark
Look out.
with a blast of raspberry lemonade, or I don't know how I said that,
A blast.
with other natural flavors, which doesn't sound true.
I'm drinking a clear American key lime sparkling water.
That
I
sounds
mean,
all right.
sulfur is a natural flavor, isn't it?
Wow.
Sulfur, yeah. That's right. Arsenic, a natural flavor.
It's from the earth.
I should just name them difficulties at this point, like hard, expert, legendary.
I love that idea.
It's a great idea.
Don't give him any ideas. I'll probably do it. And you'll get nothing for your hard work. All right. Let me start the thing up. All right. We're back. We're back, everybody. Bo, it's back to you, sir.
All right. So Hope, standing near the spread of food, stares up into the stars on the edge of the gathering. And our camera moves over across the tree line to a humble little tent. Nash, you've played with the kids, spent time with them,
Yep.
helped Angelashi put them to bed. And you sit upon a sofa, and Angelashi comes out and sits next to you, leans into you, puts an arm on your chest, gives you a sweet kiss,
Aw.
and says, Nash, when this is all over, where will we go?
Anywhere you want to go. We could be here on Mars. We could go back to Earth. We can go anywhere you want to go.
I don't wish to remain here on Earth.
Well,
Let's make a new life for ourselves somewhere.
how about, I don't know. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. I haven't lived free until I met you.
Well, I've only been like 2 places, so I'll ask some other Nashes some ideas about where they ended up.
But
We
what
go-
do you want for your life and for your kids?
Ask White Robe next.
Everybody trust White Robe Nash. Oh, I did breathe in the wrong moment. I don't know. I just want to spend my years watching the kids grow and hanging out with you and not, constantly worrying about when the world's going to end.
You spoke once of a beautiful place beyond the stars.
Planet
Fields
Nash?
were green. No.
Oh,
Farther out.
I don't remember. What did I tell her?
Maybe about the White Tower.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Perhaps we would be granted entry to a world of peace somewhere.
It's entirely possible. But I'd be willing to go just about anywhere to keep you and the kids safe. And, we really just have one big final push we have to make in order to ensure that. And then we can go anywhere. We can go back to Mars. We can go to the White Tower. We can go to anywhere we want to go. There's a million places to go. And Stanley's got all kinds of connections on getting people around. And his elf people will help us do whatever we need.
Promise me you'll come back, Nash.
Well, I'm more confident than ever that I will. Because it turns out even if I get killed, I end up coming back in some form. So don't worry about me. And while I say that, my hand just naturally and unconsciously rises up to hold down the face of the stupid thing on my chest so it doesn't try to talk during any of this. So I just kind of go this.
Okay.
Because I don't want him piping in.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
Or a deception check. 'Cause I guess you haven't told her about the mouth yet?
No, she doesn't know about the mouth.
All right, it's deception.
Oh, I thought she saw it. I thought she talked to it.
Did she?
Oh, she did. Yeah, she did.
Oh,
yeah,
well then
right.
okay, you tell me. I rolled a 15.
All
I
right.
don't know if you want to use it for
All
me.
right, we'll use it for your sleight of hand, just as you try
Doesn't
to
mean
keep-
Nash remembers that she's seen it. But
Well, yeah, and we probably got a little, frisky last night, and last time I'm going to see her for a while, so she probably saw it.
We haven't gotten frisky yet.
Oh, this is before all that. Okay.
Yeah, we're still on the same day as when you arrived. So, as you fiddle with your chest mouth, you hear, hey, stop doing that! Come on, emerge from your robe.
I'll go. So we can go. Shh. We can go anywhere you want to. Shh. I'll just say as it tries to mumble through me. We go anywhere you want to go, and I'll push a little harder on that mouth hole.
Speaking of the mouth on you, does it have a name?
What did we call it?
Sprout.
Sprout.
That's right, Sprout. Yeah.
I'll say, yeah, we call him Sprout, but that's just kind of what we came up with since he sprouted from me in this latest regeneration process.
So Angelashi opens up your robe and exposes Sprout to the air and says, Sprout, my darling, Nash and I are having a conversation. If you could just allow us some privacy as best you can.
It's not weird at all.
Well, I can hear everything. That's okay. Just stay quiet for us. We'll figure out what to do with you soon. Okay, I guess. And she puts the robe back up and she mouths to you without making any sound. What are we going to do about your mouth?
Well, there's nothing I can do. It either has to stay there or we got to do something drastic like, sew it up or something.
You hear coming from the
I go quiet. I'm not actually saying we'll do that. I'm saying we only have so many options. You either have to be quiet a lot or I have to sew you up. So just, you decide.
Right, the mouth is quiet in response, and she says, well, I have this feeling something bad is going to happen, Nash. You can't be an immortal, can you? Just because you haven't died doesn't mean there's some way that you can be undone.
I'll still be careful. I'm not gonna try to get killed or be in a bad situation. I'll do my best. But I'm just saying I'm less worried than I've ever been about returning.
That's not reassuring, Nash.
I know, but internally it makes sense to me. Plus, what's the worst that could happen? I sprout an extra nose or some bull crap after we're done. Just like this mouth. The mouth came from me sort of dying again.
Okay, and she raises her face up and she kisses you again and she says, just promise me you're going to come back.
I promise you I'll do everything in my power to come back.
Okay. All right. And as you say that, she kisses you again and let the coitus commence. The Christopher Nolan film plays again.
All right, there'll be no grappling or violence here. We're gonna do it the old human
her
fashion
hand
way.
glows green as magical as magical effects begin to take place, and you feel the foliage of plant up in your loins.
Yeah, sure would be a shame if something weird happened in here.
And that begins.
Okay.
All right. And so we return back to Hope. And so, Hope, you've been staring off into space and thinking of these things and sort of on the outskirts of the party. And you hear a voice from the forest around you saying, do you mind if I join you? It's
She'll look around.
unmistakable as the voice of Monsoon Cabbage. And you look around and you see in battle regalia a fully armored vampire knight with slick black metal armor, angry-looking shoulder pads, helmet off with like this sort of weird visory motorcycle-like helmet underneath the arm, and he's leaning against a tree. And he... What was your response? Sorry, I was so busy in the description I didn't hear the response.
Oh, she was just looking around to.
Oh yeah,
see
you
the
looked around.
location of the
Okay,
voice.
and so you see Monsoon Cabbage leaning against a tree with this helmet and his Vampire Knight battle regalia, and he looks up at the stars. You're looking up. He says, "It sure is beautiful out there."
Yeah, it actually is. I was about to go and join. Are you coming with?
Oh, I don't know if celebrations are my thing. I prefer to sulk in the dark.
I mean, I guess if that's what you want, but I think I'm done doing that.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. It showed great restraint not to call upon me for my power after having made an offer to you. How many times have you been set back these many months?
A lot, but it led to this. So I don't know if I'd call them setbacks.
If we survive what transpires over the next day, it won't be the last battle. You'll learn in time that the battles never end.
You know, I think I already know that, and I'm okay with that. Life isn't supposed to be easy, but it's not always supposed to be a battle. You get breaks. And hopefully each time you can make it through, get stronger, enjoy the peace, and take on the next thing.
Well, you hold on to that hope, little Orifi. You will need it in the days and years to come. I wanted to be sure we had one last chance to speak. Because once our deeds are done, and if we win the day, I will depart this world for good.
Where will you go?
I don't know. But I feel I can leave this world in your hands. What's driven me all these years opposing the Guzzle Gang was holding on to that little glimmer that someday someone like you would return. But my days are interminable, and my hunger insatiable, and I thank you for the last reminder of what it felt like to be alive. But I cannot live among you. My curse and my hunger is too great.
Thank you for those kind words.
I will go where creatures like me thrive.
That sounds good.
Well, I'll leave you to your celebration.
Okay, but you're always welcome. Thanks for offering to help with this.
You blink, and as you blink, he just disappears. He's just gone. And then the music of the celebration floats back into your ears. And you sort of see this dichotomy looking into the dark jungle. You see that that's the home of one kind of philosophy, and then you look back to you see Valir dancing, drunken now, eating berries and laughing with his people, and you see there's a different kind of philosophy there. And You now have a choice to make. Which direction will you choose to walk?
She heads toward the light and life and party.
All right, and Valir. Valir, you've been at this now for a while. You've been dancing, making merry, and forget it. You have successfully forgotten all of your woes, and then you see a somewhat timid-looking Hope walking in from the forest as you dance into your circle, and you sort of look around and have to look around like this and look around.
As soon as he sees her, Stanley, somewhat drunkenly, will go, Hope, my very best friend, come here. Come here. And start waving her over to the dance.
Hope will come over, and she'll start smiling.
I gotta tell you, this has been a hell of a party. It has been... I gave a very good speech. I don't think you heard it, but it was probably not my best, but it was definitely top 5. And furthermore, it was hold on, I'll recount it. I basically told them that life's hard and then it gets good, but then it's not good forever. But then it sometimes is okay.
You know, Stanley, I just had the same conversation with Monsoon Cabbage.
That's crazy.
I need to get
Would you
drunk,
like
Stanley.
something to drink?
It's been too long.
Stanley will offer some of the wine that's been floating around him. Just grab whatever goes by, hand it over.
And Hope will hold it up for everyone to cheers to. And down it.
All right, you have your cheers and you down it, and as you do that, several elves come by Valir and say, Selele Prime, we'd like to take a photo to remember, a photographical to commemorate this event. Please, everyone, line up. And sort of elves take you and move you into a shot. And Varel, you're sort of still eating with Union. You're like really exhausted. And she's having a great time. And they also approach you for the photographical to take. And one of the elves goes, "Where's Nash? We have to get Nash for this photograph."
I think he's back with his family. We could go crash the tent where they're staying.
Crash Nash.
Yes, we should do. He needs to be a part of this. This is important. We should get him.
Yeah.
The Selele has spoken. The party's being taken to Nash's abode.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
And the elves begin putting their instruments on, like the elves begin putting their instruments on so they're portable, and then a huge procession and torches and everything begins moving out, as well as these floating electronic drone lights that are around too that look like will-o'-the-wisps begin moving through the forest, and the celebration continues as there's talking and merriment as everyone moves towards Nash's tent, which is not that far off. Within about 10 minutes, everyone's there. And so Nash, you are in the throes of passion right now, and you can't really hear. Let's make a perception roll with disadvantage.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's play proper D&D.
All right. You said with disadvantage? You said
With
disadvantage,
disadvantage, yeah, because you're busy.
right? All right.
This is already good.
11. It's the best I could do.
Well, consulting my handy table for difficulty, it's not. No, actually, this is a failure. So you don't hear it happening until all of a sudden, like you're in a really good spot right now, and
What? All right.
With the passion, without getting too
I know
gross
what you
about
mean.
it, right?
Sure.
You're not thinking about what's going on around you, and then all of a sudden there's these blaring flutes and lights, and the lights are shining into your tent and casting a shadow on the tree line in the back, and you just see everyone can see Nash going to town. And you sort of realize this midway through as you sort of see all the lights and hear all the music, and you look towards the back and you sort of see yourself silhouetted on the tree line in full sexy time.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's your turn.
Initiative, please.
Wow.
It's your turn.
Well, wait a minute. So they don't have full view of us or anything. We're in a room.
No, they
somewhere.
can't see you, but the light's casting a shadow that's on the tree line in the back. So there's a silhouette. People can kind of make out what you're doing on the tree line. So you could just roll with it and have a great time and continue, or you could, stop. This is your character. How does he react to a situation like this?
Nash wouldn't care. He would go ahead and let nature finish its journey.
All right, and as nature finishes its journey, the elves go, "Hooray!" This is large cheering and clapping.
Hold up another drink.
Yeah,
And count it.
everyone's drunk, and maybe Vorel even has a comment. No, he's just eating.
At this point, Hope's gonna put her arm around Stanley and be like, "Did you know Varel, 26? He wanted me to tell you. I found him. I thought he had killed his people. They were all just lying there, but they were women and 26.
That is an impressive number.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
I gotta make a perception roll. So, as you're eating, you're sort of half paying attention to Yunya and Varel, and they're in the vicinity, and it sort of seems to float. Well, you don't know what happens. You weren't paying that much attention, but she sort of drops her hand, your hand, Varel, and this sort of look of pain spreads across her face. And she tears up a little bit and storms off into the jungle.
Feeling the party about me, I will search for more food which I can access freely now of dance and company.
All right, perfect. You do that. And so Nash, now that things are done, Angela actually whispers in your ear and she says, "I think we have an audience."
I'd say, "You think?" And then I'd get up and just kind of look around, see what's going on.
Well, she gets up and she puts a house coat, she puts one of your cloaks on, wearing it,
Gross.
It's your cloak. She sort of buttons it up so it's closed, and she says, "Come on, let's go outside. Let's not be rude."
I would say, "I'm going to kill these people if they wake up the kids," and I'll.
As you say it, you hear the click and hum of a megaphone turning on.
No.
And through it, you hear, "Nash Maggot of the Solar Mines, you are needed for a photographical."
I'd go, "Damn it, Stanley!" I'd kind of yell it, but half yell it, and go, "My kids are asleep. They'll be waking up my kids."
"I cannot hear you if you're talking back to me. That is why I'm using the megaphone."
Just a little DM suggestion: if you still have the sleep spell, you could cast magical sleep on them, and they won't wake up. Right?
Oh, but last time I got people killed doing that, and also I don't have it anymore.
That's because they were leaning out of a window when you cast it on them. I'm assuming your kids are in bed and won't roll out of anything.
I'm pretty sure I got rid of it. All
right.
Sorry, dice is rolling for no reason that I can tell you. Okay, so yeah, I got rid of that spell for that reason, because I killed somebody and I felt bad about it.
People with it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you exit from the building with Angela. She takes your hand. She says, "Don't worry about it. I'll get them back to sleep." And she steps outside with you, and the elves all come around. They grab your hands and they push you in to a crowd. Like, "All right, form a line. We're about to take a photographical. Varel, get in over there." And then someone takes you, sort of places you in a position while you just continue to eat. You're just the eating being. And then everyone sort of gets together and makes this big pose. And they say, "All right, raise up your drinks. And here we go. For the freedom of Earth." And everyone goes, "Yeah!" And snaps. The photographical takes place. The large device with different lenses and gems snaps into place. Takes a picture of the celebration. And the evening continues. I don't have any more in the way of events, so I'm going to figure out where you guys all end up. But Vorel, you're probably more on the sober side, so I can ask you, where do you, as the party winds down or people fall asleep?
Hope's gonna try and get Varel as drunk as her and Stanley are.
Oh, okay.
Is Nash staying with the party?
No, I would be annoyed.
Angela Ashley will tell you, join your friends.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. 'Cause what was her attitude?
I'm gonna try and get
Got
Nash
kicked
as
out.
drunk as Stanley and Hope are.
If that's the case, I would hang. Yeah, I would hang around. I would.
So either you agree with Hope, and then you get as drunk as she wants you to get, and if you don't, then it'll be a contest, because she may persuade you even though you don't want to.
I will.
Peer pressure.
I will happily. I'll adhere to peer. I mean, I'll fall to peer pressure. It's fine.
All right, you'll give in and start slamming them back. Vorel, the alcoholic drinks. Hope wants you
Sure.
to consume many of them. All
Very
right.
well. Particularly if it is a challenge, I will engage.
Perfect. So the party continues. Angela Ashley does ask that you try and return to where the party is, so everyone does walk back to where the party originally was to give the kids some proper sleep. And everyone gets hammered, drunk. There's dancing. You don't see Union again for the rest of the night. And everyone's hammered. And the next thing... So then we fade to black as the party continues. We rise to the starlight sky, and then we fade to black over top of the jungle forest of Mars. Nash, not Nash. Stanley, your eyes open, and you see bright sunlight and blue sky just shine in them, and they hurt. And there's a slight buzzing in your head.
Well, now I know why I don't usually do that. Oh, I wish I'd remembered lesser restoration right before I fell asleep. This was a mistake. Stanley will just turn over and put his face in the dirt or leaves or wherever his head is laying.
All right, you go to put your face into the dirt, and then you realize you just planted your face into the armpit of another elf who's not wearing any clothes.
Oh, all right, and then he's gonna turn and go the other way.
You turn to go the other way, and there's a comfy butt cheek right there
Ew.
for it. You place your head on it. You place your head upon it. And it's supple
Gross.
and firm. It's not a bad place to rest your head, but it is a butt cheek.
Okay. Stanley just turns back to neutral middle ground, tries to sit up.
Yeah. And as you try to sit up, so everyone picture, you basically had nothing but sort of this like bed sheet tied around your neck and just covering the important bits of your body, but for the most part you're naked. And there's a pile of male and female elves in the general vicinity, but you don't remember what happened. And they're all sleeping, and also various states of nude.
I count them.
What?
I mean, you sort of...
Look,
You
Varel,
start-
I do remember Varel bragging last night. It's time to count.
Yeah, I
You
guess
start to count, and like you look around, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make with disadvantage, make an investigation roll, please.
Oh, it's not going to be good at all. Oh, yeah, it's natural 1 for a 5 at best.
All right, so take 2 psychic damage.
Wait.
Take 2 psychic damage as you get to 7 and counting, and then it really hurts your head. Like every number you count past 7 is causing you damage. But you sort of see in your general vicinity there's 7, but you sort of look around. You're still at the party grounds, and there are various groups of elves, most of them in states of undress, sleeping on the ground or on tables, drunk. Like some of them are just lying on the table, drunk, with a empty cup in their hand. It's very early in the morning, you surmise, but yeah, I guess somewhere along the way, everyone started taking their clothes off and going to town.
bunch of pervies, man.
Went on Mars.
What happens on Mars stays on Mars, everybody. It's
So-
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stanley just kind of, we'll just say it's a lot, then kind of shuffle past the bodies and look around for his stuff and just start collecting it.
All right, you look around for your stuff, and it really is all over the place. Like there's a male elf with the megaphone in your hand, and he looks like he just fell asleep with. Like you must have lent it to someone. They've got it. You know, your mask is someone else is wearing your mask. Like all the elves just kind of just have all your stuff, but
No.
yeah.
Just like pop the mask off, untangle the megaphone as quietly as possible, and
Yeah. And as you move to look around, you sort of see what you think is Hope, and she has her clothes on, but she's sleeping face first in a bowl of something, and as she snores, bubbles bubble out of the soup.
Stanley would go over, gently lift her head, move any potential drowning in soup danger away from her face, and then slowly set it down
All right.
and back away.
Hope you wake up to the feeling of someone pulling your hair, and then there's like the smell of chicken and broth as your face feels completely covered in it, and you look down to like it's just a soup. Your face is dripping into a bowl of soup.
She's gonna hurl
Oh,
into the soup.
Wow.
she hurls into the soup, so now you're holding her head up from the barf and the soup, Stanley. And you sort of look around as you're barfing to see who's holding your hand up. You see Stanley with no clothes on, just a bed sheet tied around his like a sash, but over his crotch area, so you don't have to look at any of that.
She'll kind of take the back of her hand and wipe her mouth. Oh, I'm feeling a bit better now.
Sounds so sad.
Well, yeah, I guess better out than in, and better not head in soup. And Stanley, can you support yourself at this point?
And Hope's gonna try and stand up. It's a little wobbly. It's definitely feeling like she's on a ship, but she can stand.
All right, you stand. So Varel, you're eating. You haven't slept yet. You're still eating. So you see Stanley and Hope discussing something at the table, and you see them there. Whether you do something or get back to eating, that's up to you.
I'll give them kind of a Great Gatsby, but it's tired and with a piece of meat rather than a martini glass.
All right. Yeah.
Stanley just gives a very weak thumbs up. Like it's just the little half thumb. It's just sad. And turns around and keeps looking for his stuff. Finds a boot, puts it on.
Yeah, the boot has like meat in it, so you gotta like empty out the meat onto the
Fish
ground.
that out.
Yeah. Yep. One thing you've noticed, no sign of Nash anywhere, which you're secretly all a little thankful of, because probably wouldn't have clothes on either, and nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I think I just assumed Nash snuck off back to his tent first chance he got, but
He 100% would do that.
And indeed, that's true. You open your eyes, Nash, and Angelashi has brought you breakfast in bed. It's just elven preparation, but it has meats and nuts and all sorts of greens. And then she has her own, and she sits in bed with you, and you guys sit together and cuddle and eat your breakfast
Nice.
together.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so as you sort of begin collecting yourself, a hover platform sort of floats into the party grounds. Boom, 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 and you hear, ooh, 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 and the elves all slowly start to begin getting up, and a small little voice on the intercom says, "Now that celebrations are over, please make your way to the showers and clean up. We have much work to do today." It's all very peaceful and calm, and the elves sort of get up and they comply and they start looking for their clothes. And next thing you know, it was quiet, but now the whole room is going. And the platform lowers, and Admiral Chrysorius is there upon the platform. And he gives you a very glowing nod with eyes, and he says, "I see you had quite a good evening, Lily Prime."
well, I can't help but notice this whole thing feels a little ritual and formal, and I guess I would say abnormal. Is this not abnormal? Is this typical of elven parties?
Oh, most certainly. Elves appreciate and enjoy all aspects of life to their fullest. Why? We work hard and we play much harder.
Yes, yes, indeed you do. Well, it was a very good time.
And then from behind Admiral Chrysorius in her full regalia, Union steps off and takes her place at your side and says, yes, it was a celebration for the books. And everyone notices her eyes cut a quick glance over to Vorel, then back forward.
It's kind of finishing.
I mean, poor Union.
You know, you got to get your heart broken when you're young, I guess, even if it's 80 years young as an elf.
80 years for that. Ugh.
Yeah, so Admiral Chrysorius then says, I appreciate that probably you had a bit much to drink, but we have to get to work immediately. We are gathering the generals back at the grove beneath the tree of Sulasanar within the hour, so make sure you have your breakfast. Please find your Nash companion, and we will begin post-haste.
All right. Very good. And then Stanley will look to Varel and Hope. I actually have a little special surprise for breakfast this morning, but we do need Nash. So if somebody would be kind enough to retrieve him, I'll go ahead and do the prep work on my end for food.
Does one of the party want to do it?
Well, would I know?
Yeah,
Just to
Hope
meet
can
him?
go do it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll go with her. We'll fetch Nash.
Great. All right, so Stanley, you're left with Union to clean up, collect your things. Varel and Nash, or Varel and Hope, you make your way across the jungle somewhat to the tent that Nash and Angelashi have called their home, and you're now outside the tent.
So you said I didn't sleep at all, right?
That's right.
Oh, excellent.
You probably still need a long rest at some point, but no, you got so. I mean, the celebration just went on and on and on and on and on. You being the only witness to it, the clothes started coming off. You got curious to see if Stanley could. It was his like there was a bit of curiosity about confirming indeed how virile Stanley was. So, you know, while he
Sure.
couldn't, and you know, you have it confirmed he couldn't hold a torch to you, which you know, of course. But,
Yeah.
but still, it was impressive to see. You know, it's like watching ants in an ant farm. Like there was a fascination to it that kept you up all night.
And as they all sort of fell asleep, my head rolled back over to the buffet, and I did. And that's what I did all morning.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah. So you're gonna need some hit points, right?
Yeah, he's down to
Well,
one.
I've one at the moment.
All right. Well, we'll say you
Can you
benefit.
take a short rest?
Yeah, I can short rest roll that up too. If I've been sitting there eating for a while.
Yeah. Roll it up and short rest it up, but just expend your hit dice. You do have a long rest in a can. Well, someone has it for you, so.
Yeah, I'll confirm myself to. Oh, that actually didn't work. Weird. Oh well. I'll get the number
No,
up here.
we'll give you a long rest. It's a little weird. We're going through this big thing. Everyone's prepared, and somehow you're on the back leg because you had sex
Well,
26 times. I mean,
I think we'll find. I would imagine we would find 8 hours where Varel could rest, right?
right.
Maybe
Yeah.
even all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're going on the boat too. So I'm.
Let's
I'm fine
call
with
it
this.
a weird rest where you were eating but sleeping. You were sleep eating. So you probably fell asleep at some point, didn't realize it, but we're still eating while sleeping. There we go.
That is a very bad habit to have. No
Yes,
matter
it
who
is.
you are, it's terrible.
But Varel burns a lot of calories. Those muscles need energy.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense. It all makes sense for everyone. All right.
Before I
benefit from your
cast
long
this,
rest.
the plan is, as far as like they've told us, is we're doing the attack today, right?
You'll decide that at the meeting, but you certainly don't want to wait. Probably.
Okay.
As,
I just
you
don't want to use this if the attack isn't today. So
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. You'll find out soon enough. So Hope and Varel, you're outside of the Nash's tent. It's quiet in there.
Nash,
Ah! Am I
emerge
awake?
from your monogamy.
Am I awake in there? I'm probably awake, right?
You're awake eating breakfast with Angelash.
Oh, that's right. I'll say, come on, come in here. It's fine. Come in.
All right.
Yeah, we'll go in.
You enter into the tent, and there's a living room, and the kids are up eating little bowls of breakfast, and they look at you, and while they're eating, curiously, and you walk through that main little area of the tent towards the back, where there's a little divider kind of thing, so that Angelashi and Nash have some privacy, and you see them sitting in bed eating breakfast.
Yep. I'd say, kids, it's your Uncle Varel. Hey, Varel, do you need anything? Do you need to eat or over? And Hope's with you? You guys hungry or what's the deal?
Stanley's prepping a special breakfast for us, and we need you there.
Oh. All right. Well, I can eat twice. I gotta go, and I'll get up and
All right.
lean over,
So you
kiss
did-
my wife, and leave.
Yep. Okay. Kiss done. And then you go to leave.
Ooh, that sound you just made gave me a chill.
But
I don't know why,
Did I-
because it came from you or something. Because Bo went.
was
"Mm,"
it
and I
was
went,
it too well acted? Okay. Then
I don't know what it was. That was weird.
gave you a chill. I would expect grossed out, but you seem to have enjoyed it.
No,
all
not
right.
like a good chill. More like a
Well, what do you?
yeah, more like
If
Jason's
someone
in the
tells
house.
me your kiss gave me a chill, I'm reading that as like, I liked it, not like the chill of death.
Yeah,
All right.
it was chilling,
anyways-
like a serial killer kind of chill. Anyway,
Oh.
yeah,
I'll turn to the children and say, "Your father is a great warrior. You should be very proud."
Papa.
and I'd say, hear that? That's true. And I'd thumb at myself and pat them all on the head on my way out.
All right. Give them a little pat, and they're sad to see you go, but Angela actually holds them back. And you make your way back to the party grounds where Stanley is getting himself together. So the four of you are reunited with Yunyan present.
So as they approach, Stanley takes out one of the gem-encrusted bowls that he had. He sets it on the table and he waves his hand over it. He says some words. The bowl seems to fill with a liquid of some kind, and then a gem lights up and cups full of juice of some kind appear, and then the bowl drains, and then it refills with seemingly water, and then a different gem lights up, and then more bowls appear around the table with food in it, various breakfast foods, breads, and things. And he continues to do this for about 10 minutes, just filling the table with a bounty of food, until eventually the bowl at the very end just crumbles and cracks and fades into dust. And I cast Hero's Feast. So the way this works, because this is a new spell, Hero's Feast, anyone who partakes of the feast for the next 24 hours is going to have immunity to being poisoned or poison damage, immunity to being frightened. They will have advantage on wisdom saving throws, and roll 2d10, which I just did, and I got 12. Add that to your maximum HP for the 24 hours. You're going to get an additional whatever you roll, and you heal for that amount as well.
Did you say 2d12?
2d... what is it? Hold on. 2d10.
2d10. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So do it now and add that number now?
If
Yes.
you eat.
Yeah, I'll eat for sure.
All right, can you do the list of immunities again?
You're immune to poison damage. Let me just make sure I'm saying this right. You're cured of all diseases and poison. You become immune to poison and being frightened, and all wisdom saving throws will be made with advantage. Your hit point maximum also increases by 2d10, and you gain the same number of hit points that however much it goes up by.
Wow.
So we
Lasts for
got
24
resistant, or we got immune to poison, cured of all diseases, and you can't be frightened. We have advantage in wisdom saving throws, and what was the one after that? Was that just the roll of the dice, the 2d10?
Yeah, and then that's the roll in your max HP.
Basically, plus 2d10 max HP, and you gain that many hit points as well.
So you would have 14 additional HP, and you would heal 14.
Got
So
it.
basically, it ups your maximum HP, and it makes you that hit point level. Just,
Okay.
if you're topped off at the moment.
Plus 14.
And it's not temporary hit points. It's
Yeah, it's
permanent.
amazing.
changed to your direct HP total.
If I go dragon and then come back, do I lose it?
No, you come back to what your max is until
Yep.
the 24-hour period expires.
Would my dragon also have plus 14?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. That's Bo's call, but I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's because your stats get replaced with the other stats, and then you're back to your baseline, which would include the buffs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone sits down and eats, even though I mean, the only one I'm not sure about. I know Varel can still eat. That's no problem but Hope kind of just barfed into her own soup maybe 30 minutes ago. So I don't know where she's at.
She's doing okay. The world's rocking just a little bit less, but she can keep stuff down now.
Yeah. You don't got to eat a lot too. I'm sure if you have like 3 or 4 bites, it counts and you get the benefits. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyone else around can too. There's actually no limit to how many people can partake in this, but it seems like most people are busy. Maybe Union would join, but
You can invite Union to join if you wish.
yeah, she's there.
Well, she does as commanded. Her demeanor is a bit cold and clinical, dutiful, if you will, but she's very quiet. So as you ask her to join for the feast, she complies and sits down and begins eating gingerly of the food. Most of the other elves are have been summoned back to their jobs, celebration being over, their dignity being put back on as they go to do what they need to do. So no one's really stopping to bother you in any way.
Yeah, and one other thing about it, because it cures any issues you have, would this actually cure the hangover?
Yep.
Hey!
Nice.
Yeah,
feel
so after a
real
few bites,
good.
Hope, you don't feel
neat.
sick anymore. You don't feel hungover anymore. Yeah, everyone's ailments, they feel like they're in tip-top shape after having eaten the hero's feast.
Yeah, all diseases and poison, and then we become immune to it, so...
Does anything happen to Nash?
I mean,
He
do I
disappears
so much
I mean,
of what I
yeah, I
have
figured he's
seems
from
basically living
existence.
On Mr. Burns' version of pushing in the door, you know?
yeah.
No, Nash's ailments persist.
Hey, they're not benefits. What do you call it?
He is his ailment.
I am my ailments. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically it.
I mean, they're directly caused by his pacemaker, so it's not. Yeah,
Yeah, you
there's more.
Worse.
Yeah, exactly. There's more going on with Nash cancer-wise than the average person.
Fair enough. This is not a fountain of youth that he's selling us on with all this food.
No, but everyone feels a hell of a lot better, and so magically improved. Medicine is still welcome for everyone. Eating takes place. You can short rest for 10 minutes. There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. As any conversations taking place while food is being eaten? If not,
I don't think so.
no. If not, an elf comes by, Valir, one you don't recognize, a page of some kind. He says, "Silele Prime,
Yes.
the Council of Earthly Defenders will be beginning soon, and your presence is requested there, of course. If you would kindly follow me, I will be your escort."
Very good. Lead on.
All right, and I mean, you know where it is. You've been there before, so but he takes you anyways as part of a formality. And as you walk through the jungle and make your way underneath there's a great, large, old tree that's being used to terraform Mars at the center of this jungle, and you're brought underneath its canopy, the great elder tree of Solar Slamar, and you're brought into this grove that looks like it has seats several rungs down, like an old auditorium, like a Greek auditorium, but it's made out of hard bark and twisted vine. And there you see, seated in the center, upon his elderwood wheelchair that has watery floating, the High Elf Amantha Lodar, as well as the rest of the generals that take part in this. So you begin moving into this room. I'm just going to recover the peoples of note that are at this gathering, which I just have to find my list, I believe. Yeah, so there's the nameless one. You see seated here, there's an orc with a blindfold on, called the Nameless One, whom you've met before. Sitting next to him with his hair black and matted, a large beard, his face looking scraggly and dirty as ever, is Bertrand Mulg, the jeweler from the Sapphire, also seated next to him. These are the representatives of the liberators on Earth who've joined this campaign. You see Nobieri Hope is sitting in the stands there. We also have Hargo Moon, he who is blessed with wise finger. So there's a giant sitting behind the seats, and his finger is up, and it's got the tattooed face on it, and him and the finger are sort of sitting there. You have King Jalar Criddlescop. There's a contingent of bird folk, these feathered-looking eagle men who are sitting and looking around the same way kind of Vorel does, is they examine with the people who are entering with their eyes. Admiral Chrysorius is present. Monsoon Cabbage is there. You see him in his Vampire Knight armor as well as his helmet on, sitting outside of the sunlight in the tree canopy, looking over things. Tungsten Wheel, Dungelstar Ravensbread is there, as well as various other elves in attendance. And curiously enough, there's also Lyriel is present, I believe. So she's there sitting in the stands as well, whom we haven't heard from in a while. Okay, and with that, you can take your seat wherever you'd like. There's room near Dungelstar and Tungsten Wheel. There's room near Nobieri. There are other spots for the elves. How would you like to take a seat in this place?
I mean, I just take. Is there a place where all of us can be together, or we're going to get split up?
I mean, you don't have to have a preference. They could just seat you if you wish. But in the center of this room, there's like a large dais, right? And last time, magical images, illusions were being shown on this as part of the stratagem. So, if it's of no matter, then the elf that escorts you brings you towards a seat in the first row, right up close, so that you guys can see the map really great.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'd do that.
All right, and with that, make sure I remembered everyone. I think I did. All right. Amantha Lodar looks upon the room and then floats up high up upon his wheelchair. It sort of levitates so that everyone can see him. And he says, "Thank you all, everyone, for convening at this council at short notice. The hour of combat is upon us. And as we decided at our last meeting, we would meet one last time to go over the plans and finalize our descent back into Earth. This is the second meeting of the War Council of Earthly Defenders. We will dispense with the formalities. You all know who one another are, what factions you represent, and for what purpose we are here for. To secure the prosperous future of Earth. Our heroes of the wastes and our great Stellar Prime have been victorious in their effort to find and return our great engineer, Tungsten Wheel, to us. Thank you all, and excellent work doing so. We now have hope." This meeting was called upon at the last meeting to go over any new information that we might have obtained and to finalize our descent into the battlefield. And so without further ado, Admiral Chrysorius, please show us what we know. And then the High Alpha Amantha Lodar lowers down, and Admiral Chrysorius steps from the platform that he was floating in on to the ground. And the sun just seems to dim as the canopy grows thicker above so that it's darker. and then the glow of illusion from the dais, boom, moves up, and he says, "The great Silele Prime instructed us to send a scout down to Earth, Nobieri, and his undead. Nobieri has returned with information for us all. He will speak in a moment, but allow us to show you what we know of the battlefield." And in roll 20, I will now return to the battlefield view of things. All right, here we go. Does everyone see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
So, some decisions were talked about, various approaches, moving from the underground, hitting the front gate, and attacking by air. We may have to change some of these, dependent upon the information we have about what's available below. Nobieri. And the Nobieri stands up and he says, "Thank you. I have returned to Earth while our defenders went to go collect Tungsten Wheel. Tungsten will speak about the Trianglosphere soon, but I am here to speak on what we can find below." And as he steps down the different rows into the center of the battlefield, "You will see here that the solar mines are a great range of mountains surrounding a flat valley of desert, hot, waterless, and unforgiving. It is as Nash said when he described in great detail the inner workings of the buildings there. I found a compound of government buildings where workers went to do bureaucratic things. Nearby was a compound I had learned was called Workerberg. And those areas supported a land of a big dome, the city of the Chosen. I can also confirm from my vantage in the mountains that there is indeed a building called the Information Library. And then the solar mine itself, an entrance to the underground facility at the center, surrounded by lava. In descending, my goal was to find a way through the mountains where we could sneak in, perhaps move underground. But you will see here upon the map a range of towers surrounds the perimeter of this place. Based on my observation, a paladin of the umbilical order, stationed as sentry, watching all around, not only visually, but with magical sensors. Sneaking in unnoticed will not be an option. Very risky without proper tools, which I do not know that we have. I also observed these slow Peters that Nash described. They are great, great machines, shaped like a man, patrolling. I have observed 7, 8 of them, perhaps more. Their armaments deadly. Finally, it seems the principal has summoned his forces and hardened the defenses. There were 1,000 to 2,000 Toyota Host Horde patrolling with their Dragon Sun generals, the compounds themselves. Apart from that, it's as Nash said, endless rows of solar panels to mine the sun. I also spotted 4 anti-aircraft cannons at various locations. The front gate is manned by a paladin of the Umbilical Order and 2 platoons of Koromokishi, the orcs as such as the Nameless One is from. In various places, the Kuromokishi also patrol as additional support to their army. It will be up to this council to decide where best to place our units for battle. But the information on this map here is what I have observed. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Are you you still thinking the way to go is from the rear, like we discussed before, and not the main gate, or to split the forces so the main gate is a distraction and we enter from the rear?
That will be up to this council to decide. I merely come back with information.
Were you able to determine the range of the anti-aircraft guns? Maybe we can get away with not having to disable all 4. Maybe we can get away with disabling just 1 or 2.
They did not fire the guns when they were here, and I have no military knowledge of such equipment. Needless to say, they clearly appear pointed at the sky above the solar mines. And that would be my best guess as to what they are for.
Did anything appear to have shields around it? Like if we took out the solar panels, could it potentially power down everything?
I observed no shields or energy forces surrounding any structure or enemy. No shielding.
I can
In
tell
memory
you.
of this is table talk, weren't Slow Peters fire based?
They were last we talked about them. Are
Okay.
these the represented by these mechs, Bo? Is that what these are?
They are.
Okay.
They are, yes.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So I will say any forces with me would be protected by my presence against the fire. I will handle any Slow Peters that may come up.
Do you think they're weak to water?
I'll look at Nash.
I doubt it. The only advantage you have is they're slow. They're methodic and slow. They're not fast. So your advantage is speed. But they're dangerous, and as far as I know, they're not. Unless you, I suppose, buried them in water, I don't know that it would have any effect.
How about giant smash? Slow Peter, giant fast Peter, says Hargamon in the back. We beat them to smithereens. They don't look so big. And it's not the giant speaking, but he is speaking, but it's the hand sort of poking from behind the seats.
Someone else runs Bartertown. I would just yell for the seats in the back. Don't be too cocky about these. They're slow and seemingly stupid and lacking nuance, but they'll destroy you if they get in range.
Admiral Chrysoria steps forward and says, "Thank you, Nobieri. I believe if we have questions, we will ask as the conversation unfolds. Nobieri will only have information about what we saw and what he could surmise from what he saw. Let's review the forces that we have, because we have to deploy them all in specific directions. And heroes, your job will be to escort the trianglosphere into the solar mine itself. So we will need to make decisions as to who is deployed where. If you look to the left here, we have our elven ships, the first of our battalions. We have 15 elven drop ships with 10 platoons of 50 ground troop soldiers that we can deploy. They were decided last time that they would approach from the air. We have received word from your companion Eddie, and her ship Eddie's Gambit will be joining the fray, along with a friend of yours called Sarah. Diane Tallis and Monsoon Cabbage will also be part of the air unit, as last decided, with Stanley volunteering to lead that force. As well as we have Stanley's ship, the Fate 6, and the Ghost crew. To the right, you will see on the map, we have our ground forces. We have 5 giant cyclops, Hogomun's people. We have the Tiefling volunteers that will form part of the shock troops on the ground. We have the 99 Nashes. We have the Liberator Squadron. And we have the Lizard Folk Anti-Dragon TAC team that will also form as part of the ground forces, as it stands now. And perhaps there will be many goblins. We haven't heard word from your Bok friend on if they will be arriving or not.
You'll also have one big, scary, rad dragon.
So, yes. And Nash, well, I've placed Nash with the 99 Nashes, as they may need a general to lead them. I've placed Vorel with the TAC team, the Lizard Folk TAC team. And of course, Hope, we have assigned to the Tiefling contingent. Of course, it's as you decide. We do need to get the Trianglosphere into the city center. So a proposed plan might be for the various forces to make their way and meet in the middle. However, should the battle not go as planned, which has a high likelihood, it may be wiser to keep the 4 of you together and to insert you in only after the battle has started. What's
Do we know
clear
what
here?
Pardon me.
Go ahead.
Do we know what the Trianglosphere is supposed to do?
No, we haven't had that part yet. Tungsten wheel. And Tungsten gets up and he says, "Thank you, everyone. And I want to begin by thanking the heroes of the wastes for the great deeds and sacrifice in recovering me from the prison of Pentelvice. Had they not found me, I would have spent an eternity there, and this battle would surely have been lost. Thank you." He bows towards you. Dunglestar, please bring it in. And Dunglestar reaches behind himself and has this RC remote control, and he begins, and this platform sort of hovers in between the trees, and this vehicular-sized, maybe 10 feet tall, collection of spherical weird shapes meshed all in a row and floating upon this dais is moved in. Tungsten says, "Allow me to introduce to you the completed Trianglosphere. When activated, this is a machine of considerable energy conversion potential that will take mana wave radiation, collect it, and amplify it into a new wave. This wave will penetrate matter at great distances, and it will serve to counteract and balance the mana wave radiation of Earth, essentially purifying it. This will close the door to demonkind from our world. It will also return this world to its more mundane roots after a time, meaning that those who rely upon their magical powers will no longer have them. If everyone is still in support of this solution, we bring this to the solar mine, we drop it in the hottest entry point into Earth, fully spooled up, and allow it to do its thing. A demonstration of how it needs to be activated. Heroes of the Wastes. So the Dunglestar, please show them how it's to be transported. And Dunglestar hits the remote control and boom, puts a circle of energy around it. We have a modified version of Autoluke's resilient sphere activated through the device that we learned from Diantalis' wand that he used in an encounter on Elhandar. We procured one of those from one of the compromised elves that he was working with. This will be used to allow the triangular sphere to float. However, if necessary, Vorel, of the party members, you will be the only one able to carry it on your back, should the remote control device fail. This needs to be transported into the solar mine, into a point where the lava basin exists in there and dropped in, but it must be activated first. We will demonstrate its activation to you. And there is a button on the device itself, as well as one on the radio control device. And Dunglestar turns a knob on it, and all the little slivers in the sphere of metal parts begins spinning. And as it spins, it makes a laser-like shape that everyone can see that is both a triangle and a sphere at the same time. It's a shape that you've never seen before, of impossible geometry that your brain, like, it hurts to understand. Like the blue or white dress thing, it's both a sphere and a triangle at the same time, this energy outline. And sand and dirt begin to lift off the ground, and Hope, your horns turn to liquid gel as they once did back in Dust Hill many a year ago. And there's this, for those of you who are arcane touched, feel this sense of corruption and pulling. And then Tungsten looks to Dunglestar and says, "That's quite enough." And Dunglestar turns it back down, and the sphere begins to stop rotating. Admiral Chrysoria speaks. He says, "Thank you, Dunglestar, for the presentation. Our mission is not to vanquish all the enemy's forces. They outnumber us 10, 20 to 1, perhaps more. Our mission is to secure the delivery of this device and the Heroes of the Waste to the solar mine, where they will transport it to the lava basin, activate it, and drop it into the earth. So we must make our decisions as to how to deploy our forces accordingly. And we have many loved ones and many folks we care about on this mission, but we cannot hesitate to do what must be done to meet this goal."
Quick table talk. How big is this thing as we're observing it?
It's about 10 feet tall. So,
oh man,
2 feet taller than Varel. And it looks like it weighs, probably an actual ton. It's made completely of metal.
So it's not like
the weight of a car.
It's not like sneaking a USB stick in there. We got to figure out a way to get a big old thing.
You got a full magical contraption that's going to shut down the demon gates to Earth. It is floatable on the radio control device. Remember how Hope got trapped in one and was floated? It was yeeted off into a cave in this floating bubble. So they have put Odaluke's resilient sphere on it, and it is floatable, so you can control it and not have to carry it.
But it is,
but only so long as you have the remote control.
And we don't have a way to really cloak it, right? Like, I could shrink it and then re-enlarge in it. All right.
Your shrink only lasts a minute, and the war might take a while.
Yeah, that's true. I'm thinking ahead too much here. That thing just seems like a beast.
No, we are here to plan. But Admiral Chrysoria says, the first thing we must do is secure the cannons, send in forces to disable those anti-air cannons. The next will be to deploy forces where they need to be deployed. Against what armies within here? May I suggest, for example, that we send, to begin with, forces to attack the front gates as a distraction. As a second step, we send in our full forces, with some of the forces tasked to drop in, to paratroop in immediately and head for the anti-air cannons to disable them, while the forces get redeployed to the front door. Once the cannons are disabled, the rest of the air forces will descend in Most will be tasked to deal with the slow Peters, and we will drop the heroes of the waste near the center building so that they may begin their mission. I don't think it's a likely outcome that will secure the surface before we get deep inside. But if that's Solele Prime, that is my recommendation, but you perhaps see better stratagem than I do.
Well, looking at what we're dealing with here, it is, as you say, very clear we are not going to win this fight in the traditional sense. We are simply outgunned and outnumbered, so at best, we can only hope to confuse their defenses and split them enough to buy us the time we need to do what we have to do. Top priority will definitely be the anti-air cannons so that we can get the bulk of our forces in. It would also provide us the fastest way to get to the middle of the buildings to drop off the triangle sphere. To that end, maybe we could all be aboard the Fate 6 and head in once we've confirmed the cannons are down.
The Nameless Orc stands up, speaks. He says, "Yes, I will volunteer the Liberator Squadron to assault the front entrance. Allow these heroes of the wastes as much time as possible to achieve success in this mission. I pledge my forces to the front gate."
Where will the principal be in all of this?
Probably waiting for us inside, down deep. I don't expect to see him up top.
Nash's collective dream he had for us is any indication. He knows we're coming. He's waiting for us. That doesn't mean he's going to make it easy. In fact, I would say our last scuffle with him showed how far from immortality he still is. So I would anticipate he's going to want to soften us up as much as possible. To that end, I think the best we can hope for is distractions and to make our path down to him as easy as possible.
For the paladins, we're going to need some very strong fighters to keep them busy.
Admiral Christoris responds to your suggestion and says, "The Paladins, it's true, their armor is quite strong and their tactics are quite elaborate. They are difficult foes. However, they are still flesh beings underneath it all. And they have a particular weakness for elven empathy armaments. More so than the mad Toyota host or the Kuromo Kishi in their discipline. These warriors have allied themselves to machines and created many pathways of empathy as they are softened against their machine overlords, which allows our weapons to work quite well against them. So let us decide where the air forces will go. Our suggestion here is to have them split off and deal with the towers one by one, taking care of the paladins who command them. No doubt the forces of the Toyota host will be dispersed to deal with those assaults, leaving the center open. I imagine the Slow Peters will be redisposed to the front gate, leaving only various Kuromo Kishi and host squadrons that have not moved in the center. Remember that these forces are not commanded by geniuses with intelligence such that the Elhandari elves have in their long tradition of war. They are savage desert dwellers that see a target and head towards it. This is our greatest advantage. If we fight in tiers, and waves rather, they will send their forces in full to the various battles on the map, opening the center for the deposit of the heroes. And this is where our secret weapon comes in. We have the power of an Archfey on our side. And you hear a voice speak up from the back. You didn't see him. And he goes, "Yes." And A great being of blue energy steps into the center of the room, and you see Diantalis, Stanley. Not your favorite person. He walks through and he says, "All of this speech about losses and difficulty are laughable. Allow me to descend in there and I will dispose of every one of them. Anything to bring me closer in kinship to my protege." And he opens up his arms and he looks towards you, Stanley. "Soon this war will be over, and you and I shall do great things together in the name of both the House of Diantalis and the Elves of Elhandar."
All right, simmer down, Sparky. You are no doubt very strong, but you were recently brought low by just this little instrument I've got stuck to my back, so let's not overexert our reach here. The most important thing that's going to prevent and cause the biggest issue for the Elhandari elves going around taking out the towers. I think a quick, nimble strike force who can hit those hard and fast is going to be ideal. That might be Diantalis on the ones to the west. Maybe even the lizard folk would be ideal for attacking some of those, as far as attacking the ones to the east. Your people are certainly quick and focused.
That's to you, Varel.
What was the table talk? What was the name of the place we found Dolopopio, the mega dungeon?
Caravalon.
Caravalon. All right, I'll stand up and kind of gesture at the map. I say we give the Caravalon special to the one in the bottom left here. Nash digs a tunnel, and we gain access to the cannon during the assault on the front gate.
Okay, so the southeastern one, this guy right here.
Western one would be the one I'd be gesturing at because that'd be furthest away from the gate.
Oh, okay, south. This guy here.
Can I mold earth over there? Oh, I see what you're saying.
All right, so southwest cannon. Nash digs hole. Lizard folk tack team. Assaults. With Vorel. Okay. All right, that is one force deployed. The entirety of your forces, Varel?
I was thinking the heroes of the waste there. Make their presence known and split the enemy.
Would you go in first or second after the battle commences?
I would think start the battle, draw forces toward the northern gate, get everybody in that direction as much as possible. Then, a short time after that has started, we have Diantalis launch an assault on the northwestern tower. This one here.
Okay. I'm going to put Diantalis over there. So that you get up and you begin manipulating the map, moving pieces to where they're supposed to go. So I'm going to put Diantalis there. Okay. Yep.
He should be more than a match for anything he might face, and be able to hold his own. And then we have Varel's people assault the one in the southeast down here, using their hooks to climb, whatever you may call it, their special armor. They should be able to scale the mountains and get down to it quite quickly and easily. They will assault that one. The heroes of the waste, while we wait for confirmation that the towers have all been destroyed, can put our focuses on this one down here, do our part, and that just leaves determining who will be taking out the northeastern tower. If the gate's breached, it could certainly be those forces.
Monsoon Cabbage steps forward from the tree line and says, "I can take care of this one."
All right. You would receive considerable backup if the gate is breached, but keep in mind the majority of the forces will be concentrated in that area.
All Diantalis and myself will work as agents alone, but we are formidable opponents. We will signal in each of us once the deed has been done and move on towards new objectives. And Chrysorius, his finger, he holds his hand up, his brain lights up, he says, "Oh, yes, and I forgot to mention this. We will be able to procure headsets for radio communications for the different squadrons so they may communicate. Please distribute them." And another elf comes by with a box, and he starts delivering like little earbud, these kind of things to everyone, to you, Varel, to you, Hope, to all the generals. We may remain in constant communication using these ancient Earth devices.
Cool.
There's still in operation, and they were in a museum upon El Hendar. But note that these use radio wave communications, and thus we want to keep communications to a minimum because the enemy could listen in if they discover the frequency on which we speak. And Monsoon Cabbage says, "Yes, I have experience with this."
Uh-huh. We know you do. Once we've completed... oh, sorry. Go ahead, Varel.
Ignoring past treacheries, if we were to then push up into the city of the Chosen, would we not have a hero's welcome from any oppressed peoples? The heroes of the Waste, at their doorstep?
Diantal speaks up and says, "I was not able to enter into the vicinity without risking being caught tiefling in a place free, with no visible free tieflings in sight. The only one who could assuredly speak to this is Nash, who has lived among these people here."
Well, I can tell you that those who are like me in this place will gladly join our side as we make it known that we have the power to overthrow their overlords, but they have to know that or they will not voluntarily do it. They know it's instant death if they go against the will of any of the leadership. So they would have to know by our show of strength or initial shock and destruction or something that this is that moment for them to rise up. And at the very least know that it's worth fighting at that point more than it is to be living there. Like they'd rather die to fight to get out than they would live there till their end of days.
Maybe we could use the other Nashes for that. I feel if we go do that from the gun, we're wasting time and resources. We need to get the machine down there, and he knows we're coming, so it's not going to be easy. So maybe we get the Nashes into that city and see if they can talk some sense into them.
I agree. They've all had some form of experience in the solar mines and all of their timelines, so they know what they'll know of what they speak.
So the Nash is to diplomatically recruit indentured slaves.
I don't think Nash is particularly known for his diplomacy, but if the others see their people being liberated, especially by one of their own, even if it's many of one of their own, it might at least inspire someone to rise up and think differently. I guess the question is, do we want us to be committed to that first gun, or do we want to use the other Nashes for it?
My vote is for the other Nashes. I feel we need to really save our stuff for when we drop in. We help command the battle from the top, and then when it's time to go, that's when we go.
They can do both. They can start the battle by securing a tower, then they can move in. Everything that happens after the towers are down, we have plenty of forces to move in, and my hope is some of the Nashes... there are 99 of them. I hope some of the Nashes survive the tower.
Well, I know, Varel, you are itching for a battle, but keep in mind that while we may be sitting out the first skirmishes of this battle, the biggest one is waiting for us. I think Hope's right. I think we send 100 Nashes to take out the first anti-air gun and have them move forward into the city from there.
At the very least, we should be at the front gate for a time. What's the point of drawing forces? No insult to our general here. If the heroes of the waste are not present, I feel our image alone would conjure forth the majority of the forces inside the solar mines.
This is a wise thing, he says. Your presence with various forces will bolster their attack chances when rolls need to be made.
I can agree to that. And we can just show up places where we want to draw forces, right?
I think it's safe to assume those anti-aircraft guns are not going to be able to reach us outside of the gates. We could easily park the Fate 6 in the back, start with the assault with the main force, make it more convincing that that's where we're going in, and then once we have confirmation that the guns are down, get on the Fate 6 and charge directly to the center.
Ah. Fly over the wall, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and we can provide your Uncle Seva with one of these headsets so that you could radio him and they could just scoop you up from the battlefield at the gate. It's decided then. All right. And Diane Taliesin, Monsoon, and the Lizard Folk, when they are successful, where do you wish them to go?
Well, Diane Talis, I trust, is going to head towards the largest amount of bodies he can deal with at any given moment, which is probably where we could use him. Monsoon, I trust you are equally capable of deciding where your talents best lay.
I think myself and Diane Talis would be best suited to deal with these slow Peters that Nash speaks of. We could dispatch them easily with our combined strength. What do you say, Diane Talis? Yes, I don't much care who I'm killing as long as they're laying at my feet in pools of their own blood and feces.
Just tack the feces on the end there. I like it.
Nash, the panels, do those power things now, or does it collect stuff to be used later?
It's harvesting the power which they hoard and keep below stored, and I don't know how it's stored or why, but whether or not that stored power runs the facility or if the real-time harvesting runs the facility, I don't know. I would assume if you took out all the dishes, the backup would kick in. But I don't know. It's never gone down.
Okay, so if we have forces who aren't strong enough to take on the slow Peters and the bigger things, they could work on dismantling the panels.
My thought is the gate will eventually fall as the battle turns inwards, allowing our forces from outside to get in, as well as the Alhendari forces and the airships will descend and engage with the horde of Toyota hosts. From there, our hope is to win, but that fight will really just be about buying you time to get underground where the real threat awaits. For all we know, all of our forces will eventually die atop the battlefield. And it will only be you four that remain to complete our real objective, the depositing of this trianglosphere.
Once the air cannons are down and we can bring in the full might of our Air Force, which is a lot of our stronger options, they can circle the perimeter doing what they can for these towers all along the way, but they can also potentially create a roadblock between principal forces coming back to stop us once we've entered the center building. We could have them deposit troops and create sort of a pincer between the gate forces coming in and us in the center here. Might prevent anybody coming up behind us as we descend.
Very good. And he begins marking it on the map. And I'm writing it down so we remember it. So they're going to form a perimeter around the the solar mine itself. Okay.
Are there any other Nashes at this meeting?
No.
Okay.
We didn't invite White Robe, despite the fact that he's their leader.
Well, Nash is. Remember that was a step. Remember
Oh, right,
Nash
he
said
has
that
to
was
go to
secret.
the meetings.
General Nash is our Nash still. He's
Yeah.
the Nash General, but we just let the White Nash feel like he's in charge.
White Nash
keep
was
the
just,
peace.
he's just keeping the peace with the other 98 Nashes so that we can
Yeah.
not have a problem.
So, but it sounds like from there, all the forces will convene towards the center, with the exception of Monsoon and Diantalis, who will be our special forces taking out Slow Peters, as well as the Lizard Tactical Team, who are equipped to handle great threats. Vorel?
Yes. And would be quite adept at smashing panels should they find themselves without activity.
Yes.
So, just to clarify, so I know the scope of what we're dealing with here. Ourselves and a bulk of our ground forces will start the battle up at the gate, causing a distraction and a general focus of forces in that direction to stop us. With our presence there and the numbers we have, it will certainly seem like it will be the full assault. While we do that, the lizard folks will attack the tower in the southeast. Monsoon Cabbage will attack the Air Force cannon in the northeast. Diantalis, the one in the northwest. And the 100 Nash is the one in the southwest. Once those are confirmed down, just going through it in my head.
It's just the 100 Nashes. It just
The
sounds
100
funny.
Nashes.
You know, it's just like...
Once those are down, we will move our air forces in to deposit our allies behind the enemy forces in the gate, and the air cannon forces will then begin focusing on Slow Peters, with the exception of the Nashes, who are going to go and attempt to liberate solar mine workers on their own. We will then take to the sky, fly to the middle, and try to deposit the trianglosphere in the core. Does that sound about right?
Does to me.
Everyone nods or a sense of their agreement with the battle plan. And, the nameless one, or not the nameless one, but Bertrand Moog leans up and he says, I don't know about you dumbasses, but in my experience, no plan ever survives first contact. This principal guy, he's a real arsehole. And his arsehole's deep and long and full of tricks. I would expect anything. And everyone's kind of like, okay, thank you for that. As a reaction. But and yeah, maybe we just leave our episode there that week. We end on his arsehole's long and
Perfect.
deep and full of tricks. I mean, I don't know how I can have a better line. Let's leave it there.
That's a perfect final thing ever to say
Yeah.
in your life. It's perfect.
I wish I didn't say that, but it is what it is. Card laid, card played. And the battle plan's set, right? Like, unless you guys have anything else you wanted to contribute, I think this is an awesome battle plan, and it's going to be an epic.
Yeah.
We're going to have an epic session next week.
I feel like we
For sure.
as ready as we're ever going to be for this fight. I think. And I think John giving us all this stat food has been my favorite tweak. So well done, John.
Pretty good food.
Yeah, it's pretty
Pretty
good.
good
It's
food.
not bad. I feel like he should have been cooking more often, but hey, who am I to say?
Got some wisdom advantage for Varel. Hopefully he doesn't get mind controlled immediately now.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to wait until next week to find out how this all goes down. And we are doing a show next week, so tune in and find out where all of this goes as we begin our big assault on the solar mines. Hopefully we can recover some of those Twilight books while we're there. That'd be great. That's going to do it for us. A big reminder to go support us on our website, therewillbedungeons.com. There's a link right there where you click that and you can throw